Hey guys, Scott back here again with the next beer dissection video, beer analysis, whatever you want to call it. I like beer dissection, a little change things up a little bit. What I have for us today is Victory's Sour Monkey. Okay, it is a Belgian triple or a sour triple, at about 9.5% alcohol. So this is, that's right, 7.5 to 9.5 is a typical Belgian triple. Parameters based upon the BJCP, the Beer Judge Certification Program guidelines. I've never had this before. I've had Golden Monkey, which is just strict Belgian triples style, which I highly recommend, and that's the only one I've really had. So a sour triple, which is kind of shocking. I'm presuming this is going to be a little bit like our typical sour beers. And I'll get more into that in a second when I taste it. I want to see, what it, kind of lines up with in the sour realm of beers. Some specs on this. Best by August 15th, 2024. So, geez, this probably was only canned not that long ago. Malt, Pilsner malt, Tetning hops. I'm presuming, since this is a Belgian style, they do have some Belgian yeast. Belgian yeast is going to give you a little more of a phenol quality, which is like sometimes clove or pepper, depending on the style, and some esters too sometimes. That you get sometimes banana or clove or things like, well, the clove is more the phenols, but the banana esters at times. Like I said, Tetning hops, that's a German noble hop, kind of like Hallertau Mittelfrüh and Spalt, things like that. And like I said, this is a pretty heavy 9.5% alcohol beer. So Belgian style sour triple. Sour Monkey, like I said, it's probably a little bit of a spin-off of Golden Monkey, which I always recommend. This box caught my eye. I've done a few reviews on this, and depending on when you're watching this video, there was a 15-pack that Victory was putting out, and there was roughly 5 styles of beer, 3 cans of each. And as I've said on these videos, as well as my Sam Adams Beers for Cheers, it's a good way to introduce yourself into a brewery. This is based out of Philadelphia area. I think they have a brewery down in Charlotte I read up on, and these were 2 friends. I guess they were elementary school friends, and then long story short, one went to Germany, learned of some brewing, and the other one did, and they kind of formed Victory roughly 25 years ago. So I've seen their beers for a while, even though up until this last few days of doing these reviews that that had other beers besides that Golden Monkey. All right, so let's crack this open. Again, definitely would recommend our typical kind of tulip. As I say on 99% of all videos, try to avoid the shaker pine at all, for most beers, especially hoppy beers. And this one I'm not expecting to be too hoppy, but you still want those aromas. Okay, so let's open this up. Okay. Now, most Belgian style beers are very effervescent, high carbonation levels than your average beers. They're still using carbon dioxide though, but let's take a look at this. Okay, so we got a nice medium gold, nice head, about an inch. I've been pouring a little aggressively these days. I'm actually surprised there wasn't more of a head. White frothy head. Let me take a look. Take a whiff. Oh yeah, okay. Definitely some. It smells like a little bit like I'm getting lemon, citrus, probably from the sour component. I haven't taken a swig of this yet. Maybe I'm getting a little bit of the phenol quality from the Belgian yeast. I'm going to probably confirm it a little bit more when I take a swig of it. But, citrus, fruity, pretty blanket, Pilsner malt profile, sweetness to that. But I'm actually getting a little bit more of that lemon quality from, I'm presuming from the sour. they say sour. I didn't read on there that they use lactobacillus, but that's usually what they do to sour. They kettle sour these beers. After they do the mash, they'll sour it for roughly 24 hours. Then they'll continue the boil. If this is brewed like a typical sour. Okay, so let's cheers. Let's take a swig of it. Whoa. Ooh. That is a tart beer. God. So, a bite of citrus-laden tang. I think a tang is an understatement. Definitely, not that it's bad, but that acidity, and I've said in other videos, the difference between acidity and bitterness. The acidity hits you on the front end. The bitterness will get you on the back end. You just get hit with a tang with a capital T with the sourness. Yeah. If there are some phenols in there, being the Tripel and some of the esters, you're definitely getting that lemon. It's like you're taking like a lemon slice and sticking it right on your mouth, maybe with a little sugar on there, because there has some residual sweetness to this. It's not bad. It's definitely stronger. I had a Berliner Weiss from Lake Placid Brewing Company video. This is actually to another degree of sourness than that beer. Berliner Weisses are, probably on the higher end of sour beers, even more than Goses and things like that. But this is definitely, almost to the point of being a little too astringent. I probably couldn't drink too many of these other than it being at 9.5% alcohol, which is one other reason I couldn't drink too many of these. But, ooh, yeah. Definitely lip puckering. And, the sourness withers away a little bit. Not as much as that Berliner Weiss that I reviewed from Lake Placid. And it's just still persisting. I mean, a little more sour than I particularly like. And I like sour beers. It's not my number one go-to beer. But I'm expecting sourness, but it's just little to the nth degree. So if you like that, that's, fantastic. Beer's right up your alley. Other than that, I mean, now as I'm sitting here continue to talk, it does fade away a little bit. It's kind of light to medium body, which you would expect. With the triples usually drink in the Belgian style beers because a lot of the Belgian style beers, they use a lot of candy sugar and stuff like that. And the yeast will ferment it out a lot and they'll have to boost alcoholic percentage. I would have to dive into their website a little bit more to see what they use. I don't know if they're using candy sugar and things like that. I don't see it listed on the can. But I'm not really getting lots of fruity esters, no doubt. No phenols or anything like the typical Tripel or I would get from the regular Golden Monkey. If you're familiar with Golden Monkey, you're not getting those phenol, clove, peppery thing aromas and flavors to it. This is definitely kind of a sour acid bomb with lactobacillus. And listen, it's acidic. It's refreshing beer. It could be a canvas for adding some fruit if you're into that. I'm not much into putting fruit in the beer, but in a style like this, I would consider it. It is a little more intense than a Berliner Weiss. Sometimes I put elderberry and raspberry purees in there. But it's just maybe 1 or 2 degrees more acidic than I particularly like or I'm used to with some of the beers. But it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just, but yeah, it definitely, if you're not into sour beers, I wouldn't recommend this. If you are into sour beers, be prepared for kind of an acid bomb, okay, that you're going to get hit with. Pairing with something like this, just off the cuff here, because of the lemon and do the acid, I'd probably go with, some white fishes would hold up okay. Think of anything you would add like lemon to. Some shellfish, clams on the half shell. It may overpower a little bit because of the acidity. But if you had that with some butter sauces or lobster with drawn butter and things like that, it may cut through the butter very well because of the acidity. it's hard to even gauge any bitterness there. It's probably not bitter. Most Belgian style beers, since this is a triple technically, the IBU units are usually roughly 10-ish, 0 to 10, maybe a little bit more than that. But the acidity is so overpowering that you don't even sense some of the bitterness here. So probably my least favorite beer in this pack of 15 or 5 styles in this Victory. If you get 3 cans in that pack, it's fine. I just think it's just a little overdone with the acidity. They could have toned it back a little bit and got a little bit more of that triple character. But they call it a triple. I would just call this a regular sour. I don't get any of the clove or the peppery phenols or even sometimes banana. Sometimes you get almost like a Hefeweizen banana. Isoamyl acetate is the chemical that in some of the yeast strains, Belgian yeast strains, will have that. So yeah, listen, I would give this, if I was going to continue my grading scheme, at like a C, only because of the acidity. I'm sure this was their intention because they put tang on the can. But I am used to sour beers. I think this one's just a little elevated more to my liking, at least. But if you feel differently, if you've had this before, please chime in under the comments. My opinions, I'm not expecting to shove them down your throat. So taste it yourself. And guys, until next time, again, we have Victory Sour Monkey Belgian Triple style. Definitely tang with a capital T. But a lot of these beers I've been having, if you want to refer them from Victory, I've actually enjoyed. This one's just a little bit more extreme with the probably the lactobacillus used for the sourness than I particularly like. But other than that, I would still recommend the brand. They seem to be producing some good beers. This is probably the most of their beer styles I've had since they've probably been around. So even though I've seen them in the stores for a while. All right, guys, until next time, have a great day. And I'm filming this around the Christmas, New Year holidays. Have a happy holidays. Take care.